Now, across the Channel, French voters are heading to the polls this weekend for the first round of their own legislative elections. Excuse me. President Macron's gamble is expected to backfire, with the far right set to make big gains when both rounds are over. Like in Britain, the establishment is facing an uphill climb. It's consistent with the latest Edelman Trust Barometer. Barely half the people surveyed trust their governments. That number has fallen to 39% in France and 30% in Britain. Richard Edelman is with me, the CEO of the company. So, Richard, we do have, we have your trust barometer with all its implications, but we have two very real elections taking place in the UK, where I am today, and across the Channel, in France, which seems to bear out the truth of this.
Richard, the big news of the Trust Barometer we've just conducted in 15 countries is that people are making choices of their brands based on their politics. It's just as important as their gender, their age, their religion, their race, their income levels, education. So politics is the new factor in brand marketing.
Right, but how does that relate to what they decide? I mean, it's fine to say, politics is part of the brand, but if you're a political party facing an election, how do you massage that to the electorate that is basically suspicious of you?
The question really is how corporations and their brands respond to a highly politicized moment. I really believe that brands should steer away from being political. They have to recognize they are, however, in a very politicized moment. So your choice of influencers, your supply chain, everything has become an important issue. Even Caitlin Clark not making the U.S. women's basketball team was construed by some as, oh, well, because of her race or whatever. It's ridiculous, and she said so. So companies have to be very clear that they have a mission to do business and try to have narrower yellow lines about what they talk about.
I like this. Okay, Richard, but you have said to me on this program more than once, companies have to be true to their values. But in this highly politicized environment, it seems that what companies would like to do is, I see no evil, I hear no evil, la 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 la. This isn't happening all around me.
Richard, you can't put your head down and hope the storm's going to pass. Silence is actually construed as agreement with the worst possible outcome. So you have to be declarative about your values. You have to stick with them. You have to make sure you protect your core audience first. Make sure that you are consistent, but then be sure that you're trying to talk about issues that appeal to left and right. A good example, Modelo, a beer, is now doing a campaign where they talk about Latinos working hard and, coming home and having a beer. So, everybody can agree around that.
So was it a mistake for the Budweisers and the Targets of this world on Pride, since we're in June, to sort of do a volte-face, head in the opposite direction, because there was a consumer backlash? And if you now throw in politics, is that more likely?
So, of course, there's defending your core audience. That is absolutely rule number one. Second, you've got to be clear that the world is moved from multinational to multi-local. The rise of nationalism is stunning in this study. We see 80% of people saying, I won't buy brands from a specific country. For example, Americans won't buy Chinese or vice versa. And so you've got to say, these are my values, I'm staying with these, and that's where we are.
Richard, fascinating. We will talk more about this when I'm back in New York and we can really get to grips. Thank you, sir. Grateful.
Thank you.